Hey, folks. I hope everybody is having an absolutely wonderful day today. Welcome back, or welcome to, for the first time, Lone Pine Tarot. And just a quick little aside before we introduce the reading. Just like last video, I do apologize for the state of my voice. I'm recovering from a pretty bad flu, so if I sound a tad scratchy, if I cough a bit during the readings, that's just because I'm still healing, and thank you for your patience during the readings if a cough or two does come out. Now, our topic today I'm super excited for because we're opening Pandora's box in a good way. We're asking the universe, what unexpected change is coming for you? Kind of a plot twist you don't see coming. Bit of a grab bag. We'll see what comes out and see what Spirit wants to say to you. As you can tell, we are choosing with 3 different tarot decks today with the Wheel of Fortune from each. For pile 1, your tarot deck is the Tarot Landscapes over here on the left with the Spiral Galaxy. For pile 2 in the middle, you're choosing with the Wheel of Fortune from the Spacious Tarot. And for pile 3, last but not least on the right, your tarot deck pile leader is the Ostara Tarot. So pile 1, Tarot Landscapes, pile 2, Spacious Tarot, pile 3, Ostara Tarot. Though, as I always say, you are perfectly welcome to pause right here if you need more time to decide what pile you would like read for you. But when you have decided, you've trusted your gut, trust your intuition. I always say go with the first thing that draws your eye, what feels right. Go down to the description box below. Find the timestamp for your pile, and I will see you in our fun chat about the unexpected change or plot twist that is coming soon for you. See you in your readings, everyone. Hello there, my wonderful pile 1, my Tarot Landscapes pile. Welcome to your reading about the unexpected change coming your way. And as we always do when we choose with a tarot card / deck, we're going to put the leader right back into the deck. And today we're going to start with your oracle cards to glimpse more into what themes are surrounding this change coming your way. So calling on Spirit for the highest best good of pile 1. Tell us more about this plot twist coming in their life. Thank you so much. Okay, I'm feeling drawn to this particular card. And then next up we have the Dream Ritual Oracle. Okay, for sure this one is quite prominent, so we'll take it. Then we have the Ask Your Guides Oracle. Okay, once again, that one was quite obvious. We'll take that. And then we have the super big deck, the Hero's Journey Oracle, is the last deck today for at least oracle cards, right? Alright, Spirit, anything else you want to say with the oracle cards to pile 1 today? Thank you. And once again, this one is prominent. We'll take it. Let's unveil your oracle cards to begin. Pile 1. So from the Hero's Journey Oracle, ooh, lots of blue. We have The Unknown is Your Friend, number 24. And the subtext says, lean in to embrace what is next. So very fitting for a reading like this, because like I said, the title is about unexpected changes, and now we have the term the unknown popping up. Let's, of course, glimpse more into what's coming with the other cards before we get too deep into the interpretation. But next, from the Ask Your Guides Oracle, oh, beautiful, we have number 1, Prayer with Guardian Angel. You know, I know it's technically an unexpected / like plot twist in your life reading, pile 1, but I almost wonder if you've been kind of hoping for something along these lines of like whatever this thing is. I'm very curious. Let's keep going. Because even though it says the unknown, technically when we think of a prayer, that's something that we've made a request for, right? So it could be an answer to your prayers, in which case, I mean, even if you technically ask for it, that can be unexpected because a lot of times when we pray or ask for things, we don't always 100% assume that we're just going to like get whatever that is. Of course, we hope that we do, right? But at the same time, it can be a plot twist or unexpected when it actually does come into our hands or whatever we're asking for does come to transpire. So that's kind of the feeling I'm getting off these cards. Then we have Illuminate from the Dream Ritual Oracle. Illuminate, making something like brought to light, which you do have a lot of themes along those lines with these cards. We do have literally like rays of light coming down from heaven with prayer. Now we have the moon and the whole theme of Illuminate with this particular card for obvious reasons because it says Illuminate. But then even here in the Unknown is Your Friend, you have like a fire almost here in this pocket of stone and what kind of almost looks like a moon too. So it could also be a prayer for information that you've been hoping for, because when I see light as a symbol in cardomancy, I tend to associate that with like a truth or some information that we've been seeking, something that brings light to something, to use the common phrase. So it's kind of what I'm feeling. But then we have Action with the Waves of the Ocean. Yeah, so both information and perhaps something actually literally happening. It's kind of seems like a two-faceted, unexpected thing where it's not only, yes, like you've been asking for it, and I think it might be technically like something that's going to help you in terms of shedding light, but it's also an actual like thing that's going to happen, an event that's going to occur. So apologies while I do adjust these. You have the biggest tarot deck today, so I do apologize if your tarot cards do cover the oracle cards. It's just because the Tarot Landscapes deck is very big. So speaking of, let us draw those cards now. Yeah, very beautiful. Lots of yellow colors too. And yellow in symbolism to me in cardomancy tends to represent, well, once again, light, so truth, but also like happiness, right? Also the solar plexus chakra, which I tend to associate with, at least me personally, like happiness. Confidence is another thing. Maybe a lot of you have been going through kind of a dark time in the recent past, and so the yellow is like something finally dawning after a long night. So it's kind of that imagery I think I see here too with the Unknown as Your Friend. It's like this figure here almost looks like a woman because of the long hair and the shape of her body. She is in darkness, but then she's looking off to the light like, oh, I finally see the light of something. So especially if you've been going through a hard time, I think this is also what this unexpected event or change is about. Your first tarot card is the Three of Swords reversed. Beautiful. Okay, so as the Inciting Incident card, pile 1, which is the first card of my tarot spread, it's kind of basically a spirit saying this is where this change is stemming from. And the Three of Swords reversed, my friend, tends to represent overcoming a time of pain. So that's literally what I was just saying. I was like, I feel like some of you have been coming from a really dark or like hard time, like I was saying with the metaphor of like the dawn after the night, like a long night that's been going on. And finally you glimpse this light and you're like, oh, finally there's something here that's tangible that gives me hope, or is like what I've been asking for, what I've been waiting for. Let's of course keep getting some details. So the next tarot card here, excuse me, there's that cough I warned you about. We have the Two of Swords reversed. Okay, can mean that we've been mired in kind of a situation of indecision recently. It's been kind of hard to make a choice. Maybe some of the dark night of the soul you've been going through, or the hardship has been that feeling of being stuck between a rock and a hard place. Like there's just really nowhere to turn. It's that sensation I always associate with the Two of Swords reversed. Let's keep going. Then we have the Star reversed. Okay, is the heart of the matter. Literally the card of and once again, light in the darkness. It's a firefly, literally, and a shooting star here up at the very top. Lots of synchronicity with that symbolism here. So too, if you have been seeing synchronicity symbolisms with like celestial objects in the night, or like shooting stars, or like fires in the night, things like that. That's kind of a sign from your spirit guides, I think, that this change might be like close, or like things for you to like pay attention to, as we usually talk about with synchronicities. But the star reversed is we have lost our hope or our faith in something, and as the third card, that's kind of where you're at right now, pile 1, in terms of the timeline of this situation. So no wonder why you came to this reading, because especially if you're feeling stuck between a rock and a hard place, you're like, I have nowhere to turn, I have no idea what to do. And so this reading is like spirit coming forward for you and saying, here you go, pile 1, this is the answer to the prayer out of the hardship or the hard situation that you have been going through. Okay, now let's glimpse into the future. This is where the unexpected thing comes in. So we've had the context so far. This might be something about like the information I was discussing earlier that you might be like asking for, or the literal event that will change all of this. So drum roll please. We have the 10 of Pentacles. Beautiful. It's a very, very good sign in terms of finances or career, because the Pentacles, number 1, is the suit of resources and success in career and finances in general, because it's the Earth suit, but also 10 of Pentacles is due to its association with the numerology of 10, it's like the completion of a cycle. We found the happily ever after, so to speak, regarding this area of our life. So I do see, especially for those of you that have been struggling with like career or finances recently, or sometimes to the 10 of Pentacles, traditional interpretation can refer to like inheritance or money matters revolving around family. If you've been having struggles in that area, pile 1, that can also be how this unexpected event comes about. It surrounds that area of life. The unexpected change is you're going to see some success in this area that you haven't been finding so far. Okay, and then we do have one more card to draw. So I'm feeling this one back here. And then we have the Knight of Wands with, it looks like a lynx or a bobcat. I always have a hard time telling the two apart, but the Knight of Wands is a figure who takes action regarding their passions, their ambitions, or their creativity. So I wonder if, because of that indecision here of the Two of Swords reversed earlier, like I said, that's been like perhaps a time of indecision or being stuck between a rock and a hard place. Like maybe you didn't really have a way to make forward momentum because you were stuck or mired in, maybe like you didn't have the finances or the resources for something. That might be why the 10 of Pentacles came out. And so it was like you had a blockage. You're like, man, I can't even go forward. And, naturally, of course, that would create a star reversed energy because, we lost our hope or our faith in something, right? But then the Knight of Wands is finally this energy of moving forward, just like the lynx or the bobcat here. Yeah, it almost makes me think, at least in my interpretation, that he's been waiting for a while. Maybe trying to see where prey is, and then all of a sudden, just like this picture shows, mid-leap, he pounces. He's like, okay, I'm ready to go. And that's very fitting with the Knight of Wands, pile 1, because the Knight of Wands is, I take action based on an ambition or passion or creativity of mine, like I had mentioned before, those 3 keywords, okay? So especially too, for those of you where you've been finding a blockage in trying to make progress on something that you're passionate or like ambitious about, you care about in terms of your creativity, I see that blockage finally opening up. That's what the unexpected change is about. It's not only the release of resources and stability with that 10 of Pentacles, it's also the forward momentum, just like that bobcat / lynx finally going forward. And in terms of timing, I do associate certain nights in tarot with different timing. The fastest is usually the Knight of Swords, but the second fastest in tarot is the Knight of Wands. So I would say within the next few months or so, it's not immediately like super fast, as I said, like the Knight of Swords would be. But it's still pretty quick, maybe even within the next month. This is when this unexpected change will come about. I mean, we do see some numbers here. It really depends on when you're watching this reading. It is uploaded in February of 2026. So, we do have a 3 here with the 3 of Swords, which could mean, March, obviously. That 2 of Swords, 2 is February, right? Could be even by the end of the month. And then, of course, the star is, let's see, that is 15, 16, 17. Yeah, 17. So 8, 10. And then the Knight is like a 11, which would be like 2. So, or I'm sorry, 12, which would be 3. I'm going to say, depending on when you're watching this, it's within like 1 to 3 months ahead of where you're at right now. Okay. So even if it's not an immediate, like in your face, here's the plot twist you weren't expecting, don't let yourself get disheartened, pile 1, because Spirit is assuring you that, this blockage is finally going to kind of thaw and things are going to finally move. Maybe not snap your fingers fast, but it is still coming, and it's helping you in a way that you're not expecting. Let me look once again at your Unknown is Your Friend card. Lean in to embrace what is next. I feel like, too, part of what is going to be the mechanism by which this blockage will open up for you is something that you're going to be asked to take action upon. Because not only does your Unknown card talk about leaning in, and you literally have like the action card here with the Sacred Destiny. I'm sorry you can't see it right now. Like I said, you have a pretty big tarot deck today that you chose, but it's just because of those cards. I feel like it's something like the universe will dangle it in front of you, but you have to kind of like actively reach for it when it comes. So that is why right now, pile 1, I'm actually going to ask Spirit if Spirit could tell us more about the actual like mechanism by which this comes forward. Yes, you have to take action in some way, but if I were sitting in your seat right now, I would ask myself as a tarot reader, well, how do I know that it's coming? What do I look for so I know not to miss taking action when it is necessary for this? So let's look into that. Spirit, could you tell me more about, for pile 1? Highest, best, good, once again, of course, as always. What vehicle of delivery is this blockage opening coming to pass by? Like, what happens? The physical, tangible thing. Thank you. Or is it through a person? Is it through, anything that you can give us, please. Thank you. Excuse me, I do have to cough. Oofta. Okay. Thank you, Spirit. The first card we have is the 10 of Swords reversed. So it is after you feel like you are at your lowest, which I can tell you right now, pile 1, you're probably already kind of there, especially with this star reverse energy in the present moment there we talked about. So that, of course, makes sense. But the 10 of Swords reversed can also mean after we've already started to kind of pick up the pieces from something that has failed or from like a low point in our lives. So it's like on the upward trajectory from here is when the timing comes along, which, makes sense. Let's get some more context. Then we have the Page of Pentacles reversed. And then the third card here is the 9 of Swords. Interesting. And I apologize, we don't really have a lot of space left, but this card is quite prominently popping out, as you can see, so I'm just going to take it. We also have the Empress reversed. Okay, so that does make me think, once again, we have 3, so that makes me think of March, especially if you're watching this in February of 2026 when it's uploaded. 3 is repeated, and then, of course, we have, let's see, 10 is like 1, and then 9, and the Page would be like 2. So, yep, once again, makes me think of within the next 1 to 3 months or so for most of you. And then the Page of Pentacles reversed with the 9 of Swords. Let me think about that for just a moment, pile 1. Because as I said, it's like you're invited to take action, and it's when you're already kind of picking up the pieces, as the 10 of Swords reversed says. It's when you're trying to kind of figure out, well, what opportunities are available to me now. It's when you're kind of in that phase of searching for something, because that's what a page does, pile one. Pages explore their youthful energy. They don't necessarily take action quite yet like the Knight does, like we talked about with your Knight of Wands earlier, but they are in like the exploratory phase, and especially with Page of Pentacles reversed, it can represent when we're having a struggle finding or trying to find something that's like an opportunity, especially in terms of, you know, career and finances and stability, because it is a Pentacles card, right? And two, the Nine of Swords is usually when we're anxious about something. So it's like, it's almost at when it will feel the most, and I hope this doesn't like, not scare you, pile one, but I'm getting the sense from Spirit that it's almost like when things feel the absolute most dire here, as you're trying to like recover from whatever has been going on this dark night so far, that's when oh, excuse me 1 second. Like it's just the darkest before the dawn, and that's when it comes about for you. Okay, sorry, 1 moment, another cough. Ooh, flu is not fun. Okay. Yes, because the Nine of Swords represents that anxiety, as I said. It's like when you're really worried and you're searching for something and you're like, oh my god, what am I going to do now? Especially when things feel kind of dire. Oh god, I so apologize for the coughing. That really came upon me. Because also the Empress reversed can mean a time where we feel like things are kind of like a desert, so to speak. It's not really, it doesn't feel like things are fertile for our ideas, but it's like in that moment where it feels like the absolute, excuse me. Ooh, excuse me. So apologize for the coughing. In that moment where you feel like it's like the absolute darkest, that's when it comes through. And it's like finding, I almost see them showing me, like you picking up a coin in the middle of the desert. Like you wouldn't expect where this thing is coming from. But then all of a sudden it just does. And you're like, well, that's what I've been asking for. And you might even ask at the time, well, how come this didn't show up until like now? Like, why did I have to wait so long, right? Oh, Jesus. Once again, a cough. Like, why did I have to wait so long for this? Like, but it's just like it waits till that moment. And then when you're at your most worried, when you're feeling like, man, I don't know, like if there's any other options I can explore here with that Page of Pentacles energy reversed, and you feel like you're in that metaphorical desert with the Empress reversed, that's when it comes forward. It's just off to the side, out of the blue. The Page of Pentacles reversed can also represent a person, as can the Empress. So for some of you, this opportunity might come forward actually from a person. I want to say it is a person that is feminine energy, because not only do you have Earth with the Pentacles card, but the Empress is also like the quintessential feminine energy card in tarot. They might seem, if it comes from a person, they might seem kind of harsh at first. And I say that in the way of, it's odd. It's almost like this person doesn't always come off as the most friendly. But at the same time, I feel like they have your best interests at heart. They want to help you out of this. So for some of you, it could literally be a person, and definitely is an earth sign too. If it is a person for you, that is like the metaphorical coin to be picked up in the desert or in the dunes, as I was explaining earlier with that metaphor. Let me just draw one more card, just one more little clarification. Spirit, just one more. Anything else about the way that this is delivered to pile one? This unexpected change towards more prosperity and this blockage opening up so they can take action with their passions or whatever it is they're ambitious about. One more. You know, the Lover's reversed. Yeah, it's so odd. It's like you don't always get along with this person, because the Lover's reversed is like disharmony in relationships. But at the same time, it's like they help you even though you don't always get along with them. So for some of you, keep an eye out for someone that you don't necessarily get along with very well. I know it sounds weird, but that might be the avenue through which this is coming. I think it might be like, say, like a job offer, or like pointing you in the direction of a place to sign up for, or like apply to is probably the better word to use. That, or they're the one that offers you the thing that helps you like open up this blockage. You don't expect it, especially because of who this person is, I think. So, you know, the majority of you, I think it comes through this person. I think it's this person. You're just like, total out of the blue. Did not expect that this person would hold their hand out to help me, but they do. Okay. They really do. Excuse me once more on that cough. Yeah, beautiful. So it'll bring you to a place of greater prosperity. It'll bring you to a place where you have more freedom to make a choice rather than being stuck in that, you know, between a rock and a hard place situation. Never fun to deal with, right? And also, too, it might be that, as I said before, with the, like, light or illumination symbolism, that part of what they help you with is giving you information that answers your prayers for whatever it is you have been looking for, okay? So, keep your eyes out for that. Oh, excuse me once more. Oh, that cough really got me during your reading. I apologize, pile 1. I try not to cough too much, as I said, but, you know, still recovering from type A flu, but I hope that reading did help you. I hope you liked it, that it resonated, all that good stuff, and if so, please like the video, comment, subscribe. Thank you so much if you choose to do any one of those 3 things, if not more. And as I always say in our tradition on Lone Pine Tarot, I wish you a wonderful rest of your day, and I hope to see you in the next reading. Bye, Pile 1. Hello there, Pile number 2. Welcome to your unexpected change / plot twist reading. And of course, as you recall, your Pile leader deck was the Spacious Tarot. Now, as we always do when we choose with decks, I put the Pile leader right back into it. And we're actually going to start with your Oracle cards today, so let's start shuffling those. Calling on Spirit for the highest best good of Pile 2. Can you tell us more about this unexpected change? This plot twist, what do you want them to know about it? Alright, this one is quite prominent, so we'll take that one first. And we'll see if we can get through your reading without any coughing, Pile 2. Unfortunately, Pile 1, I had to cough a little bit, but crossing my fingers I don't have as many coughs during this one. I don't know if anyone else has had the flu this year, but it has been quite... I don't know if I've had a flu that strong before than the one I've had this year, so do not recommend it. Of course, I don't recommend any sickness to anyone, right? But, yep. It's just one of those flus that, you know, I don't know, sometimes you get the flu and it just, like, knocks you out and you're in bed for, like, quite a few days. It was one of those, so I'm just happy to be back in recording, though. Thankfully, I didn't have to miss any tarot readings, Pile 2, but whenever I'm unable to record, I always kind of miss it, so thankfully, I still have enough of a voice to help you and offer tarot readings, right? Okay, and here's our last oracle card. Let's unveil those. Back to the topic at hand. So first up, from your Hero's Journey Oracle, you received, me time. Number 26, enjoy your own company. I'm already getting a sense off of that particular card. I wonder if you actually might be getting a break from something, Pile 2. Let's, of course, keep seeing what your other cards say, but it's kind of the feeling I'm getting right away. Because me time, of course, is like, vacation, or, I mean, obviously maybe not literally vacation, but it's at least some sort of break from something. Then your Dream Ritual Oracle is revisit, returning back somewhere, a repeat of something, I don't know, let's keep going. And then your Ask Your Guides Oracle is balance with number 26. maybe some of you actually have been struggling with a lot of like work-life balance, or I should say imbalances lately. Maybe work has been extremely stressful for you. And so this actually might be a hint or a nudge towards this change being something changing at work where you actually get more of a break, things calm down, and you get a better balance in everything. Or two, with revisit, it's like returning back to a time where things were like less chaotic and less stressful. Okay. Although I know for some of you it might not be work related. Let's keep going. And forgiveness. What an interesting twist. We have forgiveness, someone reaching up for the crescent moon. Too, some of you, work-related or not, you might have had a situation recently where you feel like you overstepped in some way. Maybe it is related to, like, you taking time off or for vacation, or maybe you had mentioned to someone, like, man, I'm really overstressed right now. I really don't have a good work-life balance, or something about the situation is imbalanced, and you thought that, like, maybe they did get upset at you, or like you thought that they did. So for those of you that more resonates, it's very possible that this unexpected change is actually in that person and the way that they interact with you. Now, I'm not saying that maybe like initially, maybe and it's not to your fault, pile two, like at all. Like, especially if you're like, hey, I need to set boundaries here. I need to like express I'm not feeling so well, or like I feel stressed and like everything's chaotic. Like, 100% that's a good thing. Make sure to express that. So like their reaction to you, if you're finding that interpretation resonates, was more something that they just kind of had to deal with. It's not really your problem, I guess is what I'm trying to say. But you might find here with the unexpected change or plot twist that they come back to you and they're like, oh, you know what? You were right. I'm sorry I overreacted. It's something along those lines too. We'll see with your tarot cards more of the nitty-gritty details, but that is what I'm perceiving in terms of like two potential interpretations. So either like things actually like do calm down from a more chaotic time that you're not expecting, or like you had mentioned like, oh my God, things are chaotic right now, and maybe someone kind of reacted poorly in the way, or poorly in a particular manner to the way that you had expressed that. Not at your fault, really. It was more just like the way that maybe they were stressed too, and they just kind of lashed out in a way of like, well, yeah, we're all stressed, we're all kind of chaotic right now, or maybe they're just having a bad day, whatever it might be for you, pile two, or them, I should say. I think you're going to find that person coming back and being like, okay, you know what, maybe you were right, okay. It could be a manager too, where this kind of blends both interpretations, where the manager comes back and is like, yeah, you know what, you do have a little bit too much on your plate. Maybe you find that they, provide you more help with something, okay, or have like a coworker help you more with something, which of course also naturally would like reduce your stress levels, but it's something along those lines. Now that might not apply to every single one of you, as I always say in my readings, in exactly the same way, but yeah, it's like the themes of like returning to something and the cycle kind of finally going back to the way it was, like especially when I look at like the crescent moon, because things got to like the max level that they were, and now things are like calming down again because it's like a crescent moon, just like the cycle, right? Kind of finally calming down. And then also maybe some more solo independent time too. Maybe you are going to find that you have more time to kind of do things solo that you didn't expect, that maybe you've been hoping for, or hopefully you've been hoping for, right? You're like, man, I need more me time. I need more time to myself, in which case that's also a way that this might be granted, okay, that desire of yours. So let's look at your tarot cards. That, of course, will provide us the most details. So Spirit, for pile two today, could you tell me more about this unexpected change? This forgiveness they're given, or it's like someone admits that to pile two that, they overreacted, or maybe some more independence or like me time for pile two. More details, please. We do have a lot of like green and blue kind of gradient colors. And of course it makes me think of like healing and peace. So healing from something to a greater time of calm. We have, okay, the Hierophant reversed. So sometimes the Hierophant can represent, in reversed, and look at that crescent moon again. Wow. That's quite a repeated message here. So if you're looking for like symbolic synchronicities pile too, crescent moon might be a symbol to look out for with signs from your spirit guides. But anyways, as I was saying, Hierophant reversed can mean an authority figure that failed us in some way. So that could be like what I was saying before in terms of like maybe a manager overreacted to something that you said. So that's like one authority figure example. But in general, the Hierophant reversed can also represent breaking the tradition of something. So it's also an unexpected change, I think, in terms of like it's changing something away from the way that it's always been. I think based on everything happening so far with your other cards into a positive trajectory from what it's been. So let's keep going, but that's what I'm seeing so far. Excuse me. Then we have the Guardian, or the Queen of Pentacles in most decks. Can mean that the person involved, if you're recognizing this as a person, as I was talking about before with one example, that is feminine earth sign or is very earthly energy, or a feminine but associated with your job or your career, because pentacles are related to that area of life. Can also mean in general too that it's an unexpected change coming in terms of more stability, in terms of more, well, you know, peace, right? Like we've talked about, maybe having more balance and me time for things, okay? Then your next card, your heart of the matter, is Judgment, leveling up, okay? Actually, for those of you that are resonating with this as a career thing, the Judgment card can mean that a promotion is coming, because it is a card of rising up to the next level. I almost wonder if you might be, and this is weird, because usually when you get a promotion, usually you get more responsibility, right? That kind of comes with the territory, but this almost feels like a promotion in a way where, like, yes, yeah, you might get more responsibility or tasks, but it's better for you in terms of the work-life balance, okay? Or even if it's not like literally a promotion, it's like the job itself is like promoted in some way where it like brings it to like a higher level of like, oh, this is so much better than it was before. Or in general too, if it's not a job that you're seeing that this resonates with, this unexpected change is like leveling up in some way regarding like your security and your stability and your calm. Okay, something's coming along that's bringing a lot more calm. And then this is kind of the near future. We have the Eight of Wands. Okay, very good news too if you're hoping that this happens quickly, because out of all the cards in tarot, very few really talk about timing, at least in like most traditional interpretations, right? But the Eight of Wands, as represented here by these shooting stars, is something that happens very quickly. Okay, so expect this to happen fast. Maybe even tomorrow from the time that you watch this video. Could also be something that just like within the next few weeks to a month or so happens very quickly. And also sometimes the Eight of Wands can represent something happening as if out of the blue, which, you know, makes total sense for kind of the reading that we're talking about. It is an unexpected change or plot twist reading, right? But yeah, very quickly. Level up quickly, things changing quickly. And then last but not least, we have, oh, beautiful, the sun. And the sun is all about happiness. It's about truth and light, things becoming a lot more joyful. Okay, so however, with the examples I did list, pile 2, however you feel like what I've been talking about resonates. For sure, the unexpected change is a level up in some way regarding your stability and your security really quickly towards greater happiness and perhaps a place of greater transparency and truth, because sometimes the sun can represent like truth and light, right? I think in your situation you had, you know, job or not, however that resonates, you might have had it like better before, and then it's like for a while there's been this period of time where it was lost, that peace, that stability, that happiness. And you're like, oh man, I wish it would get back to that. Please, like, just let me get back to that, because we do have that sense of feeling with the revisit card. It's like, oh, we're revisiting something. This unexpected change is bringing us full circle back to what the way something was, okay? I don't know why it was unstable for a while there. Of course, if it's an interpersonal related thing, like say if it was an argument with someone, as I was saying before, you know, naturally that can kind of cause things to feel off balance. For some of you, if it is job related, maybe it was just a very stressful time because of a certain project that has been going on, or like you lost a coworker, so more people in your department had to like do more just to shoulder the burden of what that person used to do. But that, in that case, like that is also relieving or releasing in some way. Okay, so good things. I do want to ask, because I did this for pile 1 as well. What is the mechanism of delivery by which this, like, level up towards greater happiness, like, that happens quickly? Like, how does it tangibly come into effect here? So Spirit, could you tell us more about, like, the tangible way that this comes into effect? Like, we talked about the what, but the how is kind of what we want to know more about. Thank you. I mean, maybe some of you are literally going on vacation. Maybe you get rewarded with, like, a vacation for something. I mean, sometimes literally cartomancy can, like me time, you think of vacation, right? So first up, we have the 9 of Swords reversed. Something about reducing our anxiety or our mental stress about something, which once again makes me think of a literal vacation of some sort. I don't know, but... And then we have the 2 of Cups reversed. Yeah, so, I don't know, a lot of you, I think you got in an argument with someone, or there was some sort of, rift between you and another person, however big or small, because the 2 of Cups reversed can mean disharmony in a relationship of some sort, but at the same time, we ask Spirit, well, how is this delivered? So, oh, yep, and then the 5 of Cups reversed. Okay, yeah, so that's very clear. For those of you that recognize that there's another person involved, the mechanism of delivery, I think, is from the other person. After, like, anxieties and mental stress has kind of calmed down enough for, like, mending to be made from their end in the relationship to overcome the hardship or the sadness that's been going on. Because the 9 of Swords reversed is reducing anxiety. 2 of Cups reversed talks about disharmony in a relationship. And 5 of Cups reversed is overcoming a sadness or something to that effect. Okay, so... yes, I think they're going to reach out. They're going to kind of make amends, which makes sense because, as I was saying before, I intuitively sense that I think, like, maybe the other person was the one that kind of overreacted or kind of, like, freaked out or panicked. I don't think they did it to be mean. I just think maybe that they were, like, overstressed themselves. It was just kind of a misunderstanding. So it's like they come forward and they're like, well, you know what, maybe you were right, pile 2. Maybe, maybe things are a little chaotic doing it this way, or... maybe we should kind of adjust things in this department or something along those lines. And 2, even if it's not a person that you recognize in this situation, pile 2, because some of you might be listening to this and you're like, well, it's not a job related thing. It doesn't really sound like my manager, etc. It's very possible that this level up towards happiness is more so through, in your case, it almost feels like it's like the universe is waiting for you to take action then. If you don't recognize it as another person being involved, what the universe is waiting for you to do, hence the mechanism of delivery is really actually through yourself this way then, is for you to reduce your anxiety in some way about disharmony in a relationship or a connection that didn't work out. So for some of you that might be related to, like, say, love, like maybe you had a breakup recently. This spread makes me think of a breakup, of course, because 2 of Cups tends to be a love card, or at least, it can be platonic relationships too. Maybe you've had some anxiety too over, like, say, like a friendship that dissolved in some way. But as soon as you let that go, as soon as you are willing to kind of say, okay, universe, I'm done grieving over the loss of this thing. I'm okay to open myself up to new energy now. That's the mechanism of delivery through which you'll overcome the sadness here, as the 5 of Cups reverse talks about. And then you'll find the happiness of, say, the sun. It'll happen as quickly as you want it to in that case. No wonder why the 8 of Wands came out, because if the power is within your hands, pile 2, then very obviously, right, you can receive what it is that you're looking for. as soon as you're willing to accept what you're looking for, okay? It's one of those things. Just trying to make sure I didn't miss anything. Yeah, you have, once again, lots of blues and greens, lots of healing, lots of calming, as I said. I'm just trying to make sure I didn't miss anything else. I'm going to tap in with Spirit here and see if there's any other channeled messages, not necessarily related to the cards, so 1 second. Apologies for the silence. You know, it's weird. They're showing me a padlock pile too. I don't know if you've had to like lock something away or like lock something up, or someone had to lock something away. And it's like you being able to like secure something again, or like something along those lines. It's really odd. It could also represent a feeling of safety in some way. Maybe some of you have felt unsafe recently, and that's maybe why the padlock is coming up. Because, of course, we associate a padlock with, like, okay, we can safely lock away something, right? Or we can make sure that something isn't stolen from us, or that, you know, like a boundary isn't crossed in terms of our personal safety. In which case, if that's resonating with you, that's also part of the unexpected change here, is towards a greater feeling of safety, which makes sense as to why then the Nine of Swords reversed would come out, because obviously when you feel more safe, inherently you're going to feel less anxiety. And overcome hardship, overcome a feeling of sadness, and of course, you know, get back to where you feel safe again, right? Revisit. Where you can focus more on your me time. You're not worried about other things, about like lack of safety. Things are balanced again. Things are happy again. Okay. It can also mean, too, with the padlock, like locking something in. So, too, especially for those of you that are kind of seeing this maybe as like a promotion-related thing, if that more resonates with like a career interpretation for you. It's like, okay, maybe you were kind of, like you thought because of your disagreement with this person at work, like, you know, oh, that promotion might be kind of like shaky, or it's on shaky foundations. But then Spirit showing me the padlock is like, okay, no, it's safe. Like, you've locked it in. It's fine. It's just kind of waiting then on that other person to kind of come forward to you and make amends and be like, okay, yeah, maybe we, you know, kind of overreacted. Maybe we can just come back and see where we agree. Okay, where do we find harmony in this particular discussion? Where do we find common ground and things like that? Okay, so overall, for every single one of you, to speak more generally, it's an unexpected change towards a greater happiness and joy, a level up in life of some sort that's going to happen very quickly, especially regarding like stability, things like that, safety. That's another thing the Queen of Pentacles can mean too. I just remembered that. Maybe that's why the padlock came forward in the channeled message. And something that's going to reduce your anxiety. It's something that can also help you overcome a sadness of some sort. So whatever's been kind of bugging you lately, especially in the realm of like something's been out of balance, or you feel like you wish something was the way that it used to be, hence the revisit, maybe even some more me time too, because of that card, you know, you're wanting more peace again. This is where the unexpected change, or what the unexpected change is, I should say. Okay. So very positive things. Really, it kind of turned into just like a blessing reading. It's a good thing. Every pile so far has been positive things. I'm very happy to report. And that is no different for you. So, pile 2, I hope that reading helped you. I hope you liked it. I hope that, of course, it resonated too. If so, please like, comment, subscribe to the channel. Thank you so much if you choose to do any one of those 3 things, if not more. Also, thank you for, with this particular voice I have today from the flu. I didn't cough during your reading, not that I remember, so managed to get through without that. So, awesome. Okay, so wish you a wonderful rest of your day, and I hope to see you in the next reading. Bye, Pile 2. Hello there, my wonderful Pile 3. Welcome to your unexpected change reading, and of course, as you recall, you were drawn to the Ostara Tarot as your Pile Leader deck. Now, as you know, when we choose with decks, I like to put the Pile Leader right back into it. And actually, instead of starting with tarot today, we're going to start with your oracle cards. So let's begin with that. Spirit, calling on you for the highest best good of Pile 3. Can you tell us a little bit more about this unexpected change, this plot twist coming in their life? Thank you. And I did manage to get through pile 2, and they're recording without coughing, so I'm hoping the same for you, pile 3. Pile 1 was not as lucky. I had to cough a little bit during their reading, so. All normal things when you're recovering from flu, am I right? I don't know what it is about the flu this year. I don't know. It's a particularly bad one. I don't recommend it. I mean, obviously you don't recommend any sickness to anyone, but I don't know, this strain was just intense. It's one of those ones that just knocks you right off your feet and kind of leaves you in bed for quite a while, so one of those things. But the good news is that recovery was fairly swift for me, so hopefully, I don't know, way down in the comments down below if any of you have had the flu this year yet, and if it was quite as strong for you. Actually, I'm going to reshuffle this because I can't take that many cards. Or if you haven't had the flu yet, let me know too, but I want to know, was it as bad for everyone else if you did get it? Excuse me. Alright. Last oracle card. Thank you for your patience, pile 3. And I'm feeling this one right here. Beautiful. Okay. Let's see what is in the cards for you. So first up, we have the Ask Your Guides Oracle Bounty. Ooh, with number 51. And of course, bounty, we think of having something with plenty or an abundance of something. Something we've been growing and we're hoping blossoms in some way. Very possible that this unexpected change is regarding some sort of metaphorical seed that you've planted that you've been hoping will come to fruition. Keep that in mind. Actually, yeah, I will put that one up there. Excuse me. A bit scratchy. Then we have intuition here with the koi fish and the moon. Intuition, something about that you've had a gut feeling with. So actually, this might not be quite as unexpected as you think it is, pile 3. Because whenever we hear the word intuition, that kind of inherently means we've expected it some way, even if it's subconsciously. So let's keep going. We'll see. Then we have, more green. Number 11, breadcrumbs of bliss. Heed your pleasure principle. Makes me almost think of like a flower growing here because her dress is green, but then of course she has her, vibrant red hair, but then also the other vibrant colors growing from the top. I really think it is related to something that you've been growing, pile 3. Something related to a pleasure of yours. Something that makes you happy. Then last but not least, from Sacred Destiny, we have community. I don't know if some of you are gardeners. I think I said that in the last reading. Some of you I was like, are you gardeners? Because a lot of this gives me like green thumb energy. Either literally, but of course metaphorically too, as I said, with something that you planted you've been hoping coming to fruition. We have the butterfly, the rainbow, and the forest with community. Probably also something that is like group oriented. Something that benefits a community in some way, even if initially you might hear that and you kind of might have the reaction of like, well, it doesn't really make sense because like this thing I've been doing is like solo, or I feel like it's only benefiting myself, which, not to say that in a bad way, pile 3, we have to do things for ourselves too, but I don't know, some of the unexpected twists might be that it affects more people in a positive way than you're expecting as well. So also prepare perhaps for a greater, wider impact than you may have initially suspected with whatever it is that you're up to, okay? Beautiful. We have a lot of, especially in these two cards here, your Ask Your Guides Oracle and your Hero's Journey Oracle, these women clad in green with like red or pink hair, and then they have like these ribbons kind of coming off of them. You can see that here, like, especially like the pink ones are shared, but of course other colors. And it makes me think intuitively of like something that just kind of flows naturally from something you're doing. So that might be where the community impact comes in, where you technically have a goal that is like you've been doing it and it's been kind of focused solely on like your own benefit technically. But naturally it succeeds in a way where success flows and benefits a community in a way you didn't quite predict. Although some of you might have had a bit of an intuition here, hence this card on the right, that like you might have thought to yourself, well, this thing I'm working on, well, actually, a lot of people might benefit from this. Like, say, I'm not saying like for all of you it's an invention, but we'll use that as an example. Like, say, you invented a better way to, I don't know, tie up your hair. We'll just use that as an example. It's the first thing that's popping into my mind, right? And of course, you might have initially been like, oh, well, this thing I put together, I was really just to tie up my own hair. But then say with this metaphorical invention, you patent it and you start selling it, and actually it works really well for a lot of different people with long hair. It's that kind of thing. I mean, obviously not like literally like a hair tie invention or whatever, but kind of along those lines. Think of it in that way is kind of what I'm seeing as an example. So I don't know. I mean, number one, I think you're going to have success with it, but lots of wider reach than you're currently envisioning, which is exciting because, not only is it good to hear that, we're going to succeed at something, obviously, like number one, but like number two, more people might benefit than you initially planned for. Let's look at your tarot cards. That, of course, will give us like the most detail. So, Spirit, once again, more details on this unexpected change for pile 3. Just very good signs here for you in terms of things working out with whatever this goal is you have in mind, which is always good for me as a tarot reader to report. Every pile's been pretty positive today. I worried in the very beginning when I said it, like in the intro, like, oh, Pandora's box. I'm like, oh man, things might get kind of scary or might be like, I don't know. Because I read honestly, because I'm like, well, if I see an unexpected change that maybe isn't, maybe more neutral to maybe even negative, like I'll be honest about it. But thankfully every pile today has been quite positive. So we have the Knight of Wands reversed. Okay. Interesting is the very first card. It makes me think that initially with whatever this was, pile 3, you might have had a bit of a blockage in the beginning. Because this is the first card, right? Inciting incident, where you had some trouble, like, being able to take action towards whatever this passion or goal was. So the unexpected change might actually come in terms of Spirit basically saying, okay, this blockage is going to open up for you. We'll see, of course, with the trajectory of your other cards, but that is what I'm seeing here with the Knight of Wands reversed. Definitely something you're passionate about. Once again, we have a figure with, like, reddish pink hair. I don't know if a lot of you have like red hair, if you're like, either natural or dyed, or like you dyed it like pink or red, something like that. I don't know. It's a very prominent color that's popping out here. Then we have the Six of Wands reversed. Okay, yeah, so at first, maybe initially, victory eluded you, because Six of Wands reversed can mean we didn't see the like initial acclaim that we were looking for, or public recognition, or like success in terms of a passion of ours. Okay, so this is like past energy, right? So maybe that's why you came to this reading, because you kind of felt down. You're like, man, this thing isn't working out. I feel like this isn't going in my favor. I didn't get the acclaim or like the success I was looking for, be it like funding for something or meeting a milestone or whatever it is for your particular situation. And let's keep going. But yeah, it hasn't been easy, pile 3. I can see that. Then we have the King of Pentacles reversed as your present position. Okay, so that can mean, too, that in the present, maybe another reason you came to this reading is because with this particular goal, you feel like you've been struggling either, like, finding, like, financial success with it, especially if it is related to, say, business or career. The King of Pentacles reversed can mean that we've also had a blockage in terms of manifesting, like finances or success with a career, or like with money with something, okay? So no wonder why this is unexpected, because if this is the way it's been going so far, you probably heard me talking about like, oh, you're going to find success, but also it's going to reach out to a community of people more than you're expecting or have wider reach. You probably looked at this reading and were like, what? Because so far you've been having all this. You're like, what the hell? I mean, But I do see, I mean, you have bounty, you have breadcrumbs of bliss, you have good things coming. I almost wonder, too, for some of you, because the court cards in tarot can represent people, this can mean that part of your blockage was actually represented by these court cards. So a Knight of Wands reversed would be someone that is younger, middle-aged to like, you know, I'd say maybe like 30s to 40s. Fire sign, maybe they were kind of blocking some of this progress. The King of Pentacles reverse is another person potentially where they are like an older masculine earth sign, or someone that plays that role in your life in terms of like approval for like money related things, because a King of Pentacles reversed can mean someone who is like, say if it's at work, it could be a manager that didn't approve funding for something, like he's being kind of stingy about it, or they are, I should say, not just he, but although king does usually mean more masculine energy, maybe withholding back on something. Maybe it's like they feel as if like, oh, well, I need more proof of concept of whatever this is, or just things like that, okay? So it could also be that, you know, it's like a person that's been blocking you, all right? But I do see change coming. Now we're in the most exciting part of the reading, because now we're going to look into like how and like what, like in terms of, I mean, obviously we know, yeah, greater bounty, success in some way, but this is the finer details of that. So next up we have the Three of Pentacles reversed. Okay, so in a future position in a reading like this, especially with the way everything has been going, you know, before I comment on that, I'm going to draw the final card. I feel it can be either one of two ways. I'm going to see what the other card is before I say for sure. The Queen of Swords. You know what, pile 3? Some of you, because the Three of Pentacles reversed can represent either like a lack of teamwork in some area, which is funny because you had community before, right? Which is literally like, oh, community people, but then you have Three of Pentacles reversed, which is like, oh, lack of teamwork. That could actually be a positive thing. I almost wonder if some of you, this unexpected change towards greater success with this goal comes about because you're actually given room to explore something more solo. I almost wonder, like, especially with the Knight and the King of Pentacles earlier, especially reversed, right? If there were like too many cooks in the kitchen with this, I don't know if maybe like you've had like a business partner with you, or like if it's a job related thing where it's not your own business, you had coworkers that maybe were kind of holding you back in some way, like I don't know, it's just like that too many cooks in the kitchen feeling, or like they just weren't like adding to what it is you were trying to achieve. That can mean that actually this Three of Pentacles reversed means that you're released from their influence on finding your success with this particular goal, okay? The Queen of Swords, too, I tend to see as a very, like, highly independent person. She tends to be someone who is a feminine air sign. You know, maybe more, if I had to pin an age, it would be, like, more middle-aged. Although, you know, sometimes with that, the age, quote unquote, of a court card can be someone that just acts around more that age, right? So that could actually represent you, pile 3. Maybe you are a Queen of Swords. Maybe you are an air sign feminine, you know? Very possible, in which case this would mean that, yes, I would see that as like you're going solo in some way. You're freed to actually pursue something where you are the captain. You're the one directing the ship of whatever this goal is. And that is the mechanism by which, through that unexpected change, that you find the success that you've been looking for. So I really think, you know, I don't know. Maybe there's just been too many factors influencing this, and really what it needed was just more of your pure vision, unmarred by other people trying to kind of all stick their fingers in the same pie, so to speak, right? So that is one way that might manifest. I'm curious, though. I'm going to just tap in for a channeled message for a moment, so apologies for the silence. I'm also just going to drink some water for my voice as I do that, because I am curious. I feel inclined to tap in, so one second. Okay. You know, they're saying, pile 3, the reason why it's better through your self-direction and doing something on your own is because you have the purest intentions in mind for whatever this is. That's not to say that if there have been other people involved that you've been frustrated with, doesn't mean like, oh, they're evil. Like, they're really bad people. But I think Spirit is telling me intuitively that like you care the most, therefore it's always better off just in your hands. Now, that might mean you technically get more work on your shoulders, because naturally when we work alone, we have to do more alone. But I think in this situation, it's going to be less of a burden and more of something that's actually like a benefit to you, because you're going to be like, oh man, I'm finally free just to take this the direction I want it to go. I want to follow where I want to go, like breadcrumbs of bliss, heed your pleasure principle. It's like you following your own breadcrumbs, or breadcrumbs to bliss with whatever this is, okay? Also following your own logic. That's another thing the Queen of Swords talks about. Like, what logically makes sense to you, that's the direction you'll be able to follow with this. All right, and then as I did with the other piles, I do want to do just one last tarot draw. I want to ask if they can tell us more about, you had more information already about how this comes about. Like, what's the mechanism through which this unexpected change comes through? I want to see more about, like, the benefits of the success of it. I think I'm going to just twist the last question a little bit and cater it more to your specific pile than, like, doing, like, a kind of the way I did it for other piles, just to summarize quickly. So let's do that. Spirit for pile 3. Like, what are more benefits of this? Like, what is some of the success or victory that they'll get with this? We talked about the wider reach with the community, but also I just want to hear more about, like, what are the overall blessings with this? Other than maybe they can finally kind of work on their own. Maybe they've been wanting to work on their own, right? We have the World ending something. Bringing a cycle to a close that needed to close. Beautiful. The Hangman. Look at all these major arcana too, pile 3. Different perspective. Once again, that makes me think of someone working alone too, because the Hangman can technically mean a martyr. And in this case, I would take that to mean of someone that's like on their own. All right. So going it solo, we talked about that too. Just another confirmation. And then we have the Ace of Cups. Ooh, blessings. Beautiful. Also celebration too. I almost wonder at the end of this path that you're on, after you go solo with this pile 3, well, you're going to stand out very prominently in a good way. I can tell you that. I think you were being held back. Once again, I don't think the other people, if other people were involved, I don't know. I don't get the sense that they were, like, maliciously holding you back. Because I don't get, like, like the 7 of Swords energy. I don't get, like, sneaky, like someone trying to stab you in the back energy necessarily. But I think with this particular situation, you shine the most and do the most good when you do it alone, because of the purity of your intention and your focus. So part of the success and blessing here after this solo part, once you're able to bring it to fruition, is, number one, the Hangman, like I said, stands out. There's someone who is like, not look at me in like, like a bad way, but look at me and look at me the way I stand out and the way I'm succeeding. The World, too, as I said, is like the ending of a cycle, something finally being brought to a close. I think it's also a blessing in terms that it's ending a chapter of hardship in your life, okay? That's what I often see with the World. It's also you fulfilling, getting a bit spiritual here, but that's, we talk about that a lot with the major arcana. You fulfilling a certain cycle in your life and finally exiting it. In terms of, like, I don't know if you have tended to notice that a lot in your life, pile 3, where, like, you haven't really had a lot of chances to stand out solo. Maybe you always kind of get, in situations where, like, other people get your credit, or, like, other people kind of, like, not always in a bad way, but maybe perhaps, like, you just don't get lauded enough for what you actually put into things. Like, I think of, like, a traditional group project in school, or maybe you put in the most effort and, like, everyone got the same grade, even though you really are the one that did most of, like, the hauling of the effort, right? That's the end of a cycle of like that, for example, because of the world's influence here. It can also be the end of a cycle in terms of like you struggling trying to get this thing going or like come about like to the milestone that you want with this particular goal too. And then the Ace of Cups is just another really wonderful card to get for this kind of reading. The Ace of Cups is, they're celebrating being lauded for something, being toasted for something, right? Literally a toast. They're like, hey, we're going to celebrate, bring out the champagne, or at least I think it's kind of reminds me of champagne because there's bubbles. It's kind of a lighter colored drink, right? But I don't know, kind of looks like orange soda too, if that's more your thing rather than champagne. But yeah, like... Ace of Cups is like a blessing, also feeling like a blessing in terms of your heart, feeling fulfilled in terms of your heart, because I think whatever this is near and dear to your heart. I think that's why you care so much about it, right? And why it is so good in your hands, because you do have that purity of intention with your heart. Yeah, just my cup overfloweth, just like it does in the depiction of that card from the Ostara Tarot. Like, it's just... so many good things coming your way because of this. I'm so happy for all of you guys today. Like, every single pile today was just really happy. Good stuff. I mean, especially you, pile 3, though. Like, I feel like you have the most, like, visibly, like, outwardly apparent success of unexpected change here. Yeah, it's just wonderful. I do want to ask one last thing in terms of, like, if I were sitting in your seat right now and I were to ask myself as the tarot reader, like, one more question, I personally would be really curious about, like, well, how is this going to change from, like, a too many cooks in the kitchen situation to more of a solo project? Okay, so I'm going to ask, like, just with one card, what's the mechanism by which that change comes about? Okay, so Spirit, can you give me one card on that? Like, what changes it from, like, that disharmony into greater harmony and, like, maybe more solo work? Or if you have advice on maybe pile 3 asking for that. You have the 2 of Cups reversed. Which is interesting because it does relate to like relationships with other people, especially disharmony in a relationship. I'm actually going to do one more card. I know I just asked for one, but that card is kind of an inherent oh, and then the Knight of Swords reversed. Interesting. So I think pile 3, if it is a situation where it goes from too many cooks in the kitchen group thing towards you're more solo and you succeed because it has your solo focus, right? It's because I almost wonder if someone in charge of the situation, especially if it's job related, someone in charge of the situation notices that you're the one that's actually only really fighting to get this going or to actually give this thing a fighting chance. And they realize that maybe other people are dispassionate in the situation. So if this is, like, say, as an example, might not apply to all of you, a work situation, it might be a manager that realizes, well, hey, pile 3 is the only one that's actually, like, super enthusiastic about this or is actually, like, giving it a fighting chance. And maybe they even kind of see that it's causing some, like, rifts between people, hence, like, that 2 of Cups reversed energy. Very possibly they will look at you as the number one person that they're like, I trust pile 3 will get this done in the best way possible. So therefore, that's why they give it to you. Also, they might, with a Knight of Swords reversed, that can mean that maybe other people involved in the situation haven't, like, spoken the most clearly about it. Like, maybe that kind of illustrates, like, their, like, actual dispassion for it, whereas, like, you've, like, spoken very clearly, like, you have a very clear, like, goal or, like, idea for something. I guess another thing that swords can represent in tarot are, like, ideas, because it's air energy, right? So, I don't know, you stand out in that way. And I think that's why you are so lauded by the end of it. Because it's like they know that it's the best thing to do is to leave it in your hands. Okay. So when that does come along, pile 3, just don't be initially kind of scared at the idea of going it solo. Trust yourself, because trusting yourself in this situation will lead to a very good outcome. It might be unexpected, but it's a good thing, okay? In terms of, like, you didn't expect to have to go solo, but actually, probably the best thing that could have happened for what is going on. Okay, believe in your ideas. Believe in your intuition, your gut feelings with this, and I promise you it won't steer you wrong. So that was your unexpected change reading for today, pile 3. I hope, of course, most of all, you liked it, it helped you, it resonated, all that good stuff. And if so, please like the video, comment, subscribe, all that, you know the drill with YouTube, how it works. And thank you so much if you choose to do any one of those 3 things, if not more. And as we say in our tradition on Lone Pine Tarot, I wish you a wonderful rest of your day, and I hope to see you in the next reading. Bye, pile 3.